measure while we're at it. And I tend to reflect on that as the lyrics that we write to what's going on with society, or the fact that my ex-girlfriend's a whore, you know.
Yeah. That seems to sort of channel through your music about girlfriend, partners that you just that were maybe sort of whores or just evil women.
Yeah, quite a fair share.
So how are things going in terms of, obviously you guys are practicing quite a bit and playing a lot of stuff, and I noticed you've got this Time Walk song. Do you guys feel like there's, you got new material, because the material you've got at the moment is really good? I guess you're happy with that now. There's no need to get new stuff.
Well, the thing with the new stuff is we're always wanting to add to our set list, because even though our long set list is an hour and a half, we won't be content until we've got 3 hours or even more. I mean, if we've got about 20 or so songs done, but most of them we've discontinued because we haven't felt they're right enough. Like some of them that...
Like Tormented or...
Tormented is the funny story. Other songs we took out, like Sonnet and Barney, and that was mainly for... none of us really liked it in that way. With Tormented, when I first wrote it, it was even I'll admit, it was thrown together, and reading back on lyrics, it sounded really borderline arresting, sort of.
What kind of really dark?
It wasn't dark, it was more... It was a subject that even I didn't want to go into.
Go down that, yeah.
When we rewrote it, I remember we all liked it, as a backing, but obviously Mr. Anarchy didn't like the vocals, the lyrics, so we decided that if we were going to keep it, which we were all a bit happy with doing it, except Joel, which we thought, we don't want to turn around and go, oh, fuck off, we're doing it.
Screw you, yeah.
Because we're not that sort of people. I mean, once we decided to skip an entire practice and go up to hospital to see drummer's wife.
You're all about supporting each other and helping each other.
It's not just about a band, it's a family. And I have to put up with that bastard Joel and fucking Beast and Dave all the time.
But you guys have a good relationship as a band, though, don't you? I mean, I guess some bands, or most bands experience hiccups, don't they, in terms of like relationships. But you guys seem to get on, you seem to sort of be able to come together in a collective sort of spirit, and there's creative, there's a creative energy.
The thing with most bands is, guitar will be a bit sloppy, so the drummer will go, can you speed it up? And he's like, you try slowing down, and then they'll argue over it, or one of them will say something as a joke, and then the rest of them will just take piss, and then obviously arguments get caused by that. But whereas us, we practically take the piss out of each other for the sake of taking the piss out of each other, and because we take the piss out of each other and understand it's a joke, we kind of get away with it, which is how most of the arguments are solved. I mean, we just...
It's always a very light-hearted manner, though, isn't it? You guys are always supportive of each other. You're not like, screw you, and there's no animosity between you guys.
Well, it's like when we're rewriting Tormented, I couldn't find a subject or anything to write it on, and I was just flicking through my music randomly on shuffle, and Clown by Korn came on. I just messaged Joel and I says, we're both bullied. We've all been bullied at some point.
Yeah.
Why not just fucking repent against these bastards?
Yeah, just fight back.
And that's how the newer version of Tormented was done. It was kind of a goading bullies at you, kind of. You know what?
Like saying,
come get me.
Yeah.
I don't care. Cause
like you can rise above their...
I mean, I'm just crazy and stupid enough to stand there in front of 30 people and go, is that the best you fucking got?
Yeah.
I mean...
It's good to stand up to
the concept of being a pushover is worse than the concept of running away. I mean, you can run away, granted. I mean, if there's 30 of you and they've got knives, you really have no choice.
Yeah.
But if someone pushes you on the floor, laughs and walks away, and you just stay down, you know, you can't give in to the man. I mean, you got to stick it to the man. You know, get proper. Even if you can't fight back physically, I mean, I can. I've learnt myself. I've been taught by martial arts and stuff. Yeah. People like Joel, not to be offensive, but can, because they can't seem to get the physical side of it. Sometimes they're scared of being hurt. Yeah. Sometimes they think, oh, they're bigger than me, so I won't be able to do well. And the way that we repent and fight back is through our music. And
music is a way to channel feelings and anger and emotion.
Because I mean, some of the bands we listened to, mainly aiming at one, they were all about how shit the government were back then and how fucked up it was and how they got screwed over by a record label called EMI. I'm waiting for all the Sex Pistol fans to go, yep, they're on about Sex Pistols. Yes, we are. I am.
Yeah.
We. Fucked we. All the voices inside my head.
Yeah, I can second you.
I have problems. I have voices inside my head. Problem is, they're fucking great ideas.
Yeah. They probably have, you know, they're probably coming up with brilliant ideas and new material. And
yeah, which is actually how we got Time Warp, because we looked at each other. Beast wanted here for reasons that most people have probably guessed by now. But the thing is, because he was sorting out family problems, or not problems, but he was with his family, you know, spending time with his wife. He don't get much of that. Yeah,
it seems like he doesn't seem to get much time with her.
You know, we turned around and he's like, I'm with my wife. Fair enough, you know, we're not going to say, what the fuck are you doing there? You should be at practice. You know, they've been through a lot. And
they need time together, don't they?
And while he were away, we turned around and went, we should cover something cheesy, something really out of the blue that'll get people thinking, you know, hang on, it's, you know,
like a really
it's like there's a band I know, they play old school rock, not to be offensive to Dave always says, back in my day it was just called rock, fuck off.
Yeah.
But they cover Iron Maiden, they cover Sabbath, and they play Master of Puppets by Metallica, and then they go into a Madonna song.
That's a really strange mix.
You know, as soon as they go into it, though, everyone's there like, what? But you can hear them singing along to it. You know, and
it's just a very strange combo, but it can work. I guess it can adapt.
It's getting it right, because, I mean, you can cover any song and make it into anything. Like when we used to cover Paranoid, we don't anymore because we just don't see the point.
Why is it you removed Paranoid from your set?
It was, we did it once, it sounded good, we did it twice, and it just started to fall apart from there, and we just, I mean, it's not the fact that I can't play it, or Dave can't play it, or Beast can't play it, it's just getting it right, and it's
getting it all flowing into one.
It doesn't sit right with us, but we still managed to make it sound more punk.
Yeah, because it does. I've only heard you play it once, but it's got that really sort of edgy, grungy feel, kind of punky feel.
This, to be honest, because,
and it has that real kick to it. I mean, what about Anarchy in the UK? Do you think you've nailed that track now in terms of?
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of other. Half the time it works, half the time it doesn't. Mainly when it comes to a solo, I always fuck up and hit the wrong note twice.
What about break stuff? Do you think you've managed to get that?
Yeah, we've got that done, but as a personal thing, I don't think it'll be in the set list for much longer. Be there for a while, but, you know, we've got other stuff that we ended on.
So I suppose you've got Dragula as well, but...
Well, Dragula is mainly one of our backup songs for a longer set list with Eat, Sleep, Mosh, Repeat, Battle Cry.
Oh, Battle Cry, yes.
There are backup set that, you know, when we're told, oh, you've got half an hour, and we get halfway through and like, you can play on for a bit longer, we can just simply throw a couple of them out.
A few new tracks, but yeah, I see. So
and there are some of our old.
They're not the main set list, because what else have you got in the main set list? You know, the main songs that you guys play. I suppose you've got a number of songs, haven't you, on the sort of normal set list that's not cover stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean we've got our opening song "Entertain You," which we
Entertain You, yes.
on one of the other videos where basically songs I was writing as going back to Tormented. It was murder, death, you know, that kind of subject, and then Dave just came in with this lyric sheet. It just wrote some random stuff down. Sing songs about murder, songs about death, standing on your throat as you take your final breath. And I thought it was hilarious, so obviously I edited that, fitted it into a song with full chorus, and then it were, I think mentioned on one of the other videos how we came about the riff. I was playing something, and they were like, oh, it don't feel right, so I just took piss and went, oh, why don't I play this? And they're just like, that works, and I was like, oh, you fucking kidding me? You know,
Oh, really?
I spend a night writing a riff and then I play something that's fucking piss taking. Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, and they seem to like that.
It's a very, very powerful riff. It sounds like it's...
I didn't like it at first, but I mean, we opened with that, and it kind of started growing on me as we practiced it. And then when we did gig at Coniston, opening up with that, with lights in your face, and you know, all that is just like,
Yeah, because...
you know, it's...
Because I know you guys obviously played the 1 in 12 club, and you know, and you know, you were going to be playing the Coniston gig. I mean, what sort of is it over the new year? Are you thinking about new gigs, or is that something that you guys are really hungry for new gigs?
We cannot disclose a
Too much.
couple of information, but we have got gigs lined up for 2015, especially with a band called Ultimate Thunder, which they played at the Coniston when we did.
Yes, I know Ultimate Thunder. The Leeds, one of the Leeds is known as a disabled band, aren't they?
Leeds only disabled metal band.
Yeah, I did film them at the Pack Course actually, and they're quite powerful, quite they're quite sort of thrashy.
With that piss take element to it.
Yeah.
The same sort of piss take element we have, but with punk. I was talking to one of the guys from them, and I says, just imagine that, because we all have disabilities in the clan band here. I mean, come on, fucking look at us, you can clearly tell.
So how do you feel that you get on with them Departed?
Well, the thing is, we haven't all officially met. I mean, I know one guy, Dave's met a couple of them, but apart from that, you know, talking to them, they sound like brilliant guys, and we're on about planning gigs for 2015, supporting them supporting us, putting on gigs together, and seeing what happens.
That would be really good. I mean, is there any venues that you got? Because I know Ultimate Thunder have played at the Pack Course. Is there any sort of venues you guys would think of? I mean, somewhere like the Coniston, or maybe the Theatre in the Mill, or the Mill?
They have their preferences, we have ours. I mean, like, Beast likes Coniston. He likes the stage. He mentioned that he liked the stage. I do and I don't. I like it because it's long, but it just seems it's not wide enough.
No.
But whereas the 1 in 12, I mean, I love that place.
It's got a good size, isn't it? It's got good...
It's got just that. It just feels dirty and punk.
It does feel quite
grungy. It feels homely when you walk in. It's just like floor sticky. Oh fucking hell! It's like back in Rio's.
Yeah.
Smells bad.
Yeah, it does have a...
Stage looks a bit iffy. I fucking love this place. You know.
Yeah, I totally see what you mean, dude.
The graffiti on the bathroom.
The mural was sort of, you know, like a scroll of graffiti on the bathroom.
Yeah, and doors kicked in with
like almost like scriptures on the walls and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, like in you know, you read some of the stuff that people have put. It's blatant piss take, but you got to think back when people were there and they wrote that, and I mean, people share good times at different venues.
But that must have been a main venue where people really, really embraced.
It still is. It's a punk venue, and for a small-time punk venue, it's fucking brilliant. Apart from the stairs, I hate stairs.
Quite hard to get the
stairs.
kit up those stairs because they're almost.
Oh yeah, I carried that.
They're very narrow stairs.
I carried the whole of that.
They're very, very narrow. I mean, so would you say that there are gigs other gigs in Bradford, sort of venues you'd like to play? I mean, would somewhere like somewhere like the Irish Club or the City Vaults? I'm not sure if that's still there, but
Dave's in with the people at 1 in 12, so
that's the sort of main.
Not 1 in 12. Jacob as well. He knows a couple of people there. Don't know if that's possible, but that's always an option. Personal preference, I want to play St George's Hall.
St George's Hall.
But the only chance we got of that so far, we ended up having to pull out work for because of drummer issues, which were the Brad Factor, which between the people watching this and us lot, Francis technically fucking won. I mean, they might not admit it, most people might not admit it, but come on. I mean, you could tell that shit were fixed as soon as.
Who did you think deserved to win the Bad Factor?
Francis. Francis are fucking one of the best bands I've seen.
And
nicest guys as well. I mean, fucking talking to Stephen and the rest of them, and it's like, the nice people.
Yeah, they're a nice band, aren't they? I mean, who do you think, in terms of who actually did win the Brad Factor, do you think they didn't deserve to win?
It was a woman singing from a backing track. Anyone can sing from a fucking backing track. I can sing from a backing track. Difference is I sound like a fucking drowning horse, but beside the point, I can sing from a backing track.
What's your view on some of the other bands that are playing in some of these festivals? Because you have mentioned previously, I mean, and we know that it's quite a metalcore orientated set list, in terms of the bands, they tend to be very metal or doom metal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What time did you finish?
Yeah, they tend to be very doom metal orientated. Yeah. What's your view in terms of those bands? I mean, do you agree that there's a bit too much metal being played?
Yeah, there's too much hardcore. By the way, that word Francis.
The Francis guys, yeah.
Told you, nice people.
Very nice guys, yeah.
And the thing is, metal's changed, because instead of being the metal that we all know and love that is like this, like Sabbath metal, it's become growling, real drop tune guitars.
Like Slayer kind of stuff.
No, Slayer will...
Like Drop Z.
The thing with Slayer is, what people don't understand is, this is in standard. Slayer played in standard, or drop half step. They always played in standard tuning, or drop half step. It wasn't anything massively dropped down.
Because I suppose Slayer and bands like Megadeth have become associated with a heavier drop tuning
now.
The
thing is,
like going drop like G sharp tunings and things like that.
The thing is, it's more of these hardcore bands that think, 8-string, 9-string guitars, get that proper beastie sound. I'm just there like, you're all fucking faggots. I understand guitar love as much as anyone else. I mean, second I saw Slash's Snake Pit Les Paul, I pretty much orgasmed there and then. I mean, that thing's beauty. But the ones... I
like the maple guitar that he had as well. The lovely...
Yeah, his AFD one.
AFD one, yeah.
And it's like, I saw this 9-string on a wall and I picked it up and it's literally, like that. Picked it up, went, no. Didn't even have to play it. It's just... feels wrong.
Feels wrong to be playing an instrument like that. I mean, what's your view on some of the bands? For example, we've got some of the bands who are playing on the RBM. You've got the upcoming festival. I mean, we've got bands like Keeper and Dead and Doggy as an End of the Atlas. Would you describe yourself as being very different to those kinds of bands? Or?
Different is an understatement. To me, metal's become normal. metal and deathcore and all this shit has become normal, and for us, normal isn't an option because we could drop tune our guitars, we could scream, we could do the double kick pedal through every fucking song, you know.
But that's not the sort of what you're aiming for at the moment.
That's the thing. If everything was the same, how can you enjoy it?
I totally understand. So do you feel kind of like a bit miffed that you know, a lot of the bands that are playing at these festivals are kind of quite similar, and you guys aren't really giving an avenue to really play your music? Do you feel like
it's not that? It's just, I mean, we get gigs when we get gigs. Ricky puts gigs on. Sometimes he'll ask us if we're playing, sometimes he won't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, hopefully, as you said before, there are other venues that would probably, would really like your sort of music and material and stuff, and maybe you'd be more suited to those sorts of things. Perhaps a lot of the RBM stuff is quite heavy, as you say, like doom metal or hardcore metal sort of stuff. Maybe you guys are in a different niche, but that doesn't mean you can't still be playing loads of gigs next year.
Exactly. I mean, Dave once said, as long as he gets to do a gig a month, he'll be happy. He don't want out more than that. He wants a gig a month. And he turned around and he says, if he gets a play download, even if it's one of the smallest stages for 5 minutes, he says, I'll be happy. And with us lot, I mean, Joe wants a headline download,
Joe wants the biggest possible opportunity. He wants to...
and I mean, I'm not going to drag him down, let him dream, but at least he knows if it doesn't happen, not to be so let down. He knows, if it don't happen, it don't happen. With me, I just want to play. I mean, a gig a month's good, but if it's a gig a month in somewhere where you've got, like, the only people watching it, the band that's on next and the girlfriends, then,
No, that's not what you guys are...
That's not rock and roll, that's just fucking...
That's not what you guys are about. You want to be able to play gigs. I mean, what's your view on the RBM Festival weekend? Would that have been a gig that you guys would have liked to have played? What was your view on that?
Personally, I did ask before all the bands were confirmed, and he says, according to Page, it says all the bands have not been confirmed yet, but then he told me, we've got everyone now. And looking at it now from our band's point of view, it's just like, nah, I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he told us, you get, unless he came up to us and says, you get a 2-hour shot. I mean,
a big slot like, I mean, do you guys want a 2-hour slot? Is that the sort of thing you want?
It's not just that. I wouldn't want to play it, but a gig's a gig. More people listening, whether it's 1 or 100. The more people, the better, and you just learn to get on with that.
Yeah, I mean, so how, in terms of obviously, you guys want, as you mentioned, you want more gigs and things like that. I mean, do you think the RBM Festival there would have been a lot of people at that gig who probably would have liked your music? Presumably they would have loved your material. There's the sorts of people who go there just because they are metal, like playing more metalcore sort of stuff. It doesn't mean they wouldn't have liked punk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, come on, if it weren't for the Sex Pistols and earlier bands and later bands, I mean, come on, Motorhead, Sex Pistols, Clash, even Elvis, you wouldn't have your shitty music today, because Elvis spawned Motorhead, and Beatles spawned Motorhead, spawned Black Sabbath, which spawned Slayer, which obviously,
it has influenced the later generation.
People,
I mean, some of the music that's being played with some of the bands, like the Keeper and bands like that. What sort of music would you describe that as? I mean, would you liken it to any musicians that play today in terms of other sort of successful bands?
Thing is, if it suits them, it suits them. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to pretend I'm Almighty God. I am God, by the way, but that's the point.
Yeah.
To turn around and go, what you're doing is wrong. Personally, yeah, I think it's wrong because, you don't drop tune your guitars to fucking AF sharp and some shit like that. You don't have 9-string guitars. If you're going to play metal, play it properly. But if they like it like that, then who am I to criticise?
Totally.
I mean, I like my guitar drop D or standard, and D's not even that much. It's like playing a power chord like that.
It doesn't really change the sound too much. Tonally, it doesn't change the sound too much.
No, because it's just one string drop down.
Would you guys ever consider being as heavy as some of the bands that are playing, or is it as you said, because you don't want to sound too similar?
It's not just that. Joel likes it.
What, like scream, kind of
Proper
like
heavy
death
screamo.
metal?
I mean, I do now and again, depending. But I just, the whole look as well. You know, the way they dress, the way that they look, the way that they, you know, the whole metalcore scene. Everyone looks the same. All the music sounds the same. And it annoys me because the whole thing with punk rock was the do-it-yourself kind of image, which was different, because the way that you've got to look at it is all these people that look the same. What's the point of having people that look the same when you can be different and stand out? Which is why most bands, I think, are shit, because they all sound the same. Do
you think a lot of the bands that are playing at things like RBM, they do sound a lot the same? They're quite similar, the sound, and they may be playing very similar music? Or?
Yeah, because to me it all sounds roughly the same, you know, drop-tuned guitars and screaming lyrics that no one can understand, and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's bands that get away with it, Danny Filth being one, Cannibal Corpse being another, but
Suicide
Silence, Mitch Lucker, he got away with it.
I love deathcore.
But the thing is with deathcore it is mainly a load of shit, because most bands are like, oh,
I don't just love deathcore, but I do love it.
My interview, fuck off.
Well, no problem. This is, I mean, it's good to have input from the other band member here making a guest appearance into the interview. So would you say that you guys have a difference about deathcore? Would you say that you don't?
I love it. He hates it.
Would you say that you have? Really? Would you say you have a difference?
Well, Suicide Silence is I think the only deathcore band that he likes.
Yeah, but
because about like the Godfathers, one of the Godfathers.
The thing is, they got away with it and made it sound good. And then there's bands like Bring Me the Horizon that'll come in.
They were deathcore at the beginning, but
they're still shit. Watch, 1,000 comments will appear on YouTube of people sending hate to me because I don't like Bring Me the Horizon. And if I'd given the opportunity, I would knock Ollie Sykes out.
Or Ollie.
I don't care.
So you describe yourself as maybe not liking.
I hate him. 95%.
Yes, Ollie Sykes. When basically Ollie Sykes is my hero. He hates him.
What is it you don't like about that type of
face, his attitude, his whole I'm better
he
than
did
everyone.
He did, because that's been based on what it is.
His image.
Shut up. Based on
his music.
Gaffer took me mouth shut. But basically, his
face.
Shut up. Yeah. But I like you talk later. But what I was saying was basically this thing is turn it off, Mr. ADHD.
Jack fell out.
Alright. What I was going to say basically, and Swing is based in Swing is based in up until mid 2014. Basically, Ollie Sykes did have a lot of issues. Basically, he was a druggie. He was constantly on ketamine, he was basically taking any drug he could get his hands on, and basically had a
kind of a spiralling effect on his...
huge effect on his personality. It really made him very paranoid. He was always lashing out to people for no reason. But in about actually this was actually just before the release of our latest album, Sempiternal. He actually went into rehab for about a month, and he came out a completely different person.
Because drugs can have
a lot more calm now. He's
like drinking piss.
And he's a lot more calm now, and that kind of thing is.
Fucking drinking piss, ain't you, man?
He's a better. He's a more rounded person now.
And Jordan Lee and Jordan Fish being the keyboardist and Brummy's actually said that, and Ollie's a totally different man now than he was before.
He's a much better, maybe a more overall grounded.
He's a much nicer arsehole. He's still an arsehole, but he's much nicer.
Why do you actually start to like him?
No, I still think he's a complete arsehole and a waste of space.
Why is it you still think he's an arse?
I've always hated him. I mean, his music's terrible.
Can
His
you
face
actually
is
remember
terrible. His hair's terrible. I mean, his whole image is terrible. His band are terrible.
Ollie Sykes is a god.
End of. A god of gays, maybe. But yeah.
So you,
Rock!
so you don't like his
He's a
music?
dick. You want to talk about? You want to talk about a god of rock? Talk about Lemmy motherfucking Kilmanster.
I love
He is God.
I love Lemmy!
Second to me.
So you
So many
guys,
times.
so would you
I do
guys
think
say
Lemmy's
that?
got two.
Would you guys say that you have a real creative differences in terms of music?
Oh, shit.
In terms of the music you like,
You
would
come here, you fuck up my interview, and then you drop the mic. Well done, dickhead.
Sorry, I've no idea.
Well, thanks very much for your interview today, guys. And
What's left of it?
yeah, and you know, I hope it goes well for you in terms of gigs in 2015. But
Yeah.
well, awesome, thanks.
I think it broke it.